Okay, so this is like the 10,000th time I've tried to film this video. So if this doesn't work, I'm actually like, I'm retiring.
Where your ass was at, dog, with niggas wouldn't feed. Where your ass was at, dog, with bitches didn't eat.
So as you can see from the title of this video, this is an honest review of my first year in Oxford. I'm a first year medic and I go to Oxford. Well, I've actually just finished first year, so I'm going into second year in October 2019. I have literally tried to film this video like 3 times and there've either been problems with the lighting, there's been problems with my camera, my brother kept calling me halfway through, like, oh my gosh, it was just, I'm gonna lose it. It was too much for me, so I'm finally here, I'm finally filming this video, and yeah, I think I'm gonna get into it. Oxford is a very interesting place. For me, there are a lot of things that I think I experienced that you wouldn't experience at a traditional university, but I hope that this video kind of helps to clear up like any misconceptions that people had. Obviously these are all like my own experiences, so I can't speak on behalf of anyone else, and I can't say that like if you're watching this video because you're interested in finding out more about Oxford because you're interested in applying, I can't say that this is what your Oxford experience is going to be like. I guess all I can say is just like stay tuned in it and just watch. So Freshers Week. So for those of you who don't know what Freshers Week is, in the UK, Freshers Week is basically like, it's the first week of uni. And I say uni because you don't actually, well, you're not meant to do any work. You're basically just meant to like socialize, meet new people. You basically just binge drink every night of the week and you're hungover like all throughout the day. I personally, that life's not for me. I do drink. I don't drink that much though. It's just not a thing for me. Like, I just can't force it. I personally just think that a lot of alcohol tastes clapped, and if it tastes clapped, I'm actually not backing it. Like, that is not my portion. That's just not me. If any of you men that know me and have been there for the dark times are watching this, I feel like I'm doing this a lot. I don't really know what to tell you. So yeah, Freshers Week in Oxford. It's meant to be no work, but ding ding ding! Congratulations, you played yourself. But yeah, we had like our first kind of like taster tutorials, and we got set. I think some people got set essays, some people got set like problem sheets and like little like question sheets and all that stuff. I think I got set an essay. I can't really remember. So I kind of put a damper on things, but at the same time, I think it was a good social opportunity. Though you had to do work, because I like working with people, and I know a lot of people in uni hate that, but if you're a person who likes working with people, it was a good opportunity for you to kind of be like, do you want to come to the library with me? Because everyone was doing it, it kind of like, it was a shared experience, so it wasn't too bad, but it was definitely a bit of a weird experience for a Freshers Week, especially because I have a twin brother and he goes to Nottingham.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
And I know that Nottingham Freshers Week was definitely not the same as Oxford Freshers Week. I know that there was absolutely no way that they were doing work. Besides the work that we were set in Freshers Week, we were also set holiday work, but like, you best believe your girl didn't do that. Like, when I saw the reading list that they sent me for the summer, I paused for a second and I really considered where my life would be in like 2-3 months when I got to Oxford. And I just thought, I'm just gonna hope for the best, because I honestly, like, I was trying to live my best life and I also wasn't trying to pay money for textbooks. So I was like, in Oxford, there's like a college system. So we live in colleges, and that's kind of like that's where we live. That's where we have like all of our academic stuff. And college is just like really close, like tight-knit communities. And in most like Oxford colleges have like this family system. where like older years will be like your college mom or your college dad, and they like help you with like the academic side of your course because they'll do the same subject as you. And then you also have another parent that's kind of like the social side of uni in general. My academic college mom, she emailed me in the summer and she was just like, yeah, like, actually don't do that. Like, are you dumb? And that was the best thing I could have heard, because you best believe there was no way I was touching a book. I was living a hot girl summer. I literally watched Netflix all summer, but we're not gonna talk about that. Y'all don't know me yet, so I'm just gonna let you think that was how I lived my life. In terms of like actual like clubs and stuff, I probably went out every day in Freshers Week except for like one day where my college had like a big night in, and I think it was mainly for people who like didn't drink or like weren't big on the drinking scene. And I'm not really big on clubbing or drinking, so that was like really nice for me just to like get to know people in my college and like a non throwing up in the bathroom setting, so that was good. Yeah, so in terms of Freshers Week, I think it was good. I personally am not a very I'm a very social person, and I love talking to people that I'm already friends with. If I'm not friends with you, I don't feel the need to talk to you, not in a bad way, just as in I get so shy and nervous that for me to talk to you, it's just a bit much. Like, I just don't know.
I'm not getting involved. I'm here to enjoy myself, GC style, do you know what I mean? I just want to be me.
And I really tried to like force myself to get out of my shell and like go up to people I didn't know and like try and make conversation with them in Freshers Week, but a lot of people in my course told me that they just never thought that we were going to be friends because I was just so quiet for the entirety of Freshers Week. Like, once I got comfortable, just like in the uni environment in general, and I think once Freshers Week kind of faded and I stopped having to like actually force introductions for the sake of like Freshers Week, it just became a lot easier for me to like talk to people naturally. Like, when it got to like proper like first academic week of uni, it was a lot easier for me to like talk to people in my college and all that stuff, because I felt like there's a lot less pressure. So like, don't be scared if you don't find your people in Freshers Week, because you have a whole year to do that. Some people find their best friends in the last term of uni, so like it's not that deep at all. So yeah, moving on to like the rest of the term, I'd say that's when a lot of like the conflict that happened in first year for me kind of set in. For me, it was always a balance between English and medicine. Like, was I gonna apply to Oxford for medicine? Was I gonna apply for English? I just didn't really know. My English department at school really pushed me to push for English, just at any university in general. But they thought that like I could apply to Oxford instead of medicine. Like, they thought I was doing the wrong course. The people in my school responsible for my medical school application didn't really have the most faith in my medical school application, so they didn't really push me as hard. I didn't really have that backing from my school. But I'll talk about that in another like separate video. But it was just like, for me, when I got to uni, I felt like I had made the wrong decision, or there was a potential I could have made the wrong decision. And I wanted to give myself the first term to kind of suss out whether or not this medicine thing was kind of like, was it my vibe, or should I just reapply for English and like take a gap year? And I think that put me under a lot of like unnecessary stress, especially because the first term of my course wasn't really that interesting anyways, because a lot of it was introductory lectures, it was going over stuff from A-levels, and I wasn't really stretching us that much like conceptually, just because they had to make sure that everyone kind of was on a basic like medical knowledge before they went into like the really like hard medical stuff. First time just stressed me out in that aspect because I didn't know what to expect, and when I got there, it didn't really match up with what I'd hoped. I knew once I figured out what I wanted to do in terms of what course, that a lot of that mental toll would be taken away, but it was just like, it's just the stress of that. So I knew once that was sorted out, it would be okay. Second term was probably like the hardest term for me, just in terms of the workload got upped so much. Generally, I'll have like 3 to 4 essays a week, and they're around like 1,500 to 2,000 words, yeah, give or take. That I can deal with. like that's fine for me. I'm a very like, I'm good at planning my social life so that my academic work, whilst it's a priority, is kind of planned around what I want to do socially as opposed to the other way around. Just because for me, that just makes me less like stressed out. But when we got to second term, there was a lot of issues with like timetabling and like stuff that was going on with like the administrative side of the course, like in the actual department. So I was having a lot of tutorials. I was probably having like 5 tutorials a week. And each tutorial I was being set an essay or a piece of work. So I was ending up with like around 5 essays a week. And if I wasn't getting set 5 essays, it was a normal 3 to 4. One week I had 5 essays, and the next week I had 3 essays. And then the next week I had 5 essays again. There was no real time to relax. Like there was still kind of like a constant workflow. And then there was just other stuff like friend stuff, family stuff, just in general, like the stress over whether or not I was doing the right course. It just really took its toll on me. And my mental health really declined. I was quite unhappy with university. And I thought, well, if this gets any worse, then I might just have to like drop out, take a gap year, and then reapply for a different course after I finished, like just taking some time out for myself. But things got better, things got easier. Work started to tail off towards the end of the term. A lot of stuff that was going on just like in my life resolved itself. So basically by the end of the second term, I was feeling pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Like it wasn't the best, but I felt a lot better. And the Easter holidays was just amazing because it just meant I could crash out for like, Oxford holidays are so long, they're like 6 weeks. So I just crashed out for like 6 weeks. I just got comfortable at home. I just got to like take a break. Had a little bit of revision to do because my third term of uni is when exams are. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm hella lazy, so I didn't actually do that much work. I was basically just not doing any work. The summer term, that was probably the best term for me. I enjoyed it so much, and it really just, I think it really made first year for me. And first year, despite all the stuff that I've gone through in first year, I'd say overall it was one of the best years of my life. The summer term was amazing because I feel like the friendships I had made just got really cemented. I'm like pretty confident now that a lot of the friends that I've made in uni in this first year and like the friendships I've cemented in that term, they're gonna be friends for like a very long time, or at least I want them to be. We pray to God that like they stay in my life, and that all stays good. The third term of uni was also my exam term. I think that's where a lot of like my degree conflict kind of resolved itself, oddly enough, because as the term progressed, it just got like gradually like more and more intense. Obviously we're building up to our exams, like more revision. We're learning like the last bit of content, so it was kind of like that final push. And just the stuff that we were learning was so interesting. I think I really like started to find like my niche in my degree, because all of medicine, in Oxford at least, all of the modules are compulsory, everyone has to study them. But I think like once I got to third term, I just really got to find my rhythm and like what about my course interested me. And once I found that, it just made things so much easier to get through. And like going through revision, and like I'm a person who thrives under pressure, so like working towards these exams and doing all that stuff, it just really put me in the mood to like do my degree. Like I felt productive, I felt hardworking, I was doing my thing. Yeah. It was also just nice because I think my friendship group particularly, we relied really heavily on each other to get our we relied really heavily on each other to get through exams. I wasn't doing it alone. I had people like constantly motivating me. I just felt like I was part of a family. Shout out to my friends. This is so cringy, but yeah, it definitely like, it was an amazing term for me. Though there was exams, it was an amazing term. When it got to actual exam season though, Oxford finessed me in 2 ways. First of all, our exams weren't actually during the term. They were after the end of term, as in everyone else had gone home, but the few degrees that had exams at the end of the term, like after the end of term, had to stay back. And not only that, our accommodation contracts don't actually include that last week that we were all in Oxford for our exams. So we all had to pay extra money to stay back to do exams that we didn't want to do. And and all our friends were gone living their best lives, enjoying summer. We never planned our exams to be timetabled in that week. But if I see you in my hospital, nah, I'm joking. Like, I actually don't know why Oxford had to do us so dirty. I had 7 exams in 4 days. I just couldn't rest after the exam. So like, I'd have an exam in the morning, and then it wasn't that I could like go back and like start revision or like take a nap or just like chill or something. Like, I had to get ready for my next exam that was in the afternoon. And my exams were really late in the afternoon. My like second exam was always at like 3:30. So I literally like, I just had this really awkward amount of time where I was like, do I revise for the exam that I have tomorrow, or do I just revise for the exam I have in the afternoon? Because it was so annoying. It was definitely a stressful time. Yeah, I guess on to the next part of my video. And this is like the serious This is the everyone actually wants to find out. All the stuff I heard about Oxford was there are no black people there, no one's lit, all you do is just die under a pile of work. Everyone's from private school and they're super posh and privileged, and they just hate people who aren't posh and privileged. I was just like, oh shit.
Here we go again.
I went to a predominantly white sixth form, and a lot of them were like very rich and very privileged. I found it hard to like for people to relate to my background. There was no one for me to joke with about like jollof rice or how my mom keeps frozen stew in ice cream containers. Like, I felt very isolated at times, and that scared me throughout the whole like run up to going to Oxford. Like, the whole summer I was shook. Like, even after I got my offer in like January of year 13, it was in the back mind. It was only when I got into summer of like year 13 and like my offer actually got confirmed that I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a lot. Like, I'm actually going here, and like I might have made a mistake. And I'd say that there were 2 things that helped. First of all, right after I got my offer, February 2018 in the half term, the Oxford ACS, the African and Caribbean Society, they ran like a little kind of offer holders day where a lot of like the offer holders, they all kind of came up to Oxford, and we just like chilled with them for a day. We went around Oxford colleges, and honestly, it was one of the best experiences I could have done at that time. Going there and actually finding out that not only were there people who looked like me in Oxford, and was there a safe space where I could relate to people, but like they were actually lit as well. Like, they were actually like fun. Actually arriving at uni was like the second thing that kind of like got me. I realized that if people like me, if we don't apply to universities like this, then the problem's never going to change. And secondly, like, yes, this place is filled with people who have backgrounds that are the complete opposite to mine, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad people. And I'm very glad that I didn't like prevent myself from making friends with people who weren't from the same background as me because of ignorance. It's been a year that I definitely didn't expect to be as incredible and as, I guess, life-changing as it was, because when I look back at it, the person who I was when I entered uni and the person who I am now there's just so much growth and development that's happened between those 2 periods. If you're watching this video because you're thinking, I don't know if I want to apply to Oxford, I would say just go for it, because the what if will be the thing that will eat you up inside. And if you're watching this video just because you're interested and you want to know what life at Oxford is actually like, I'm hoping to do more videos on like Oxford and what my life at Oxford is like. A lot of those will be when I actually get back to uni, but I'm also going to be doing more reflective stuff like this on my channel this summer. And yeah, I hope you guys like this video. If you do like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm hoping to make this into more of a series about like what like life is like at Oxford, and like doing Q&As and like stuff like how I got my grades and all that stuff. I guess I've been chatting bare. You're probably tired of listening to me speak now, so I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna say goodbye, and
Drop that top in the summertime, baby. We can do SKR. Put it in small, see which buttons we can press.
And